Welcome to Chief of Party to Chief of Party, success in your first 90 days. As you navigate the USAID landscape for the first time or seek to sharpen your skills, we're here to provide the guidance you need to address the unique challenges of this role. Host Donna Vincent Roa, an experienced Chief of Party, will inform and inspire your journey.
Welcome to a new chapter in your journey as Chief of Party. Today we're going to unravel the power of one of the most effective tools in your communication arsenal, infographics. Picture this. You're in a room full of stakeholders, each with their perspectives, their goals, and their level of understanding about your project. How do you grab their attention? How do you keep their attention and make them remember your message? The answer lies in the simplicity and visual impact of infographics. A chief of party in South Sudan was tasked with conveying the progress of a complex food security program. The challenge was to showcase the results to a diverse audience, from local community leaders to international donors. She turned to infographics. The visual that she created was more than just a pretty picture. It was clarity personified. It transcended language barriers. It distilled the intricate data. And finally, it galvanized the type of support that words alone could not have secured. It was actually a game changer. Why do infographics work so well? Realistically, they tap into the human brain's innate desire for visual storytelling. We process visuals 60,000 times faster than text, and 90% of the information transmitted to our brains is visual. When you translate your project's objectives, your outcomes, and your impacts into compelling infographics, you're sharing information, but you're also making sure that that information sticks. Now let's dive into the strategy behind an effective infographic. First, as in many cases, we need to understand the audience. Are they technical experts? It's a good question to ask because your design must resonate with your audience, but it needs to also cater to their level of understanding. You want to always focus on your core message and then work to identify what's the one thing you want your audience to take away. Your infographic should center around this message, avoiding any kind of clutter of non-essential information. And this is where your graphic designer, subcontractor, becomes an important player in your ability to take storytelling to an art using infographics, where we use data points to tell a story of change, a story of progress, and of the lives that our project has impacted. Now, obviously, you want to make sure the data is accurate, that it's up to date, and it's sourced, because in these settings, as you well know, credibility is king. Let's talk a bit about design. It's not just about being fancy. We also have to be clear. Using colors and symbols that are culturally relevant is important. Using USAID's color palette is also required. And remember in these settings that simplicity is the ultimate sophistication. And you want to make sure that your project does, in fact, have access to professional graphic designers. Look, not everyone's a designer, and you want to tap into those whose profession is actually graphic design. I want to say that our design subcontracts are among the most meaningful and influential relationships that a USAID-funded project could have. These graphic design professionals bring our vision to life. In many cases, I often pencil out an idea as I develop that idea with the express intention of creating an infographic to explain the approach or the process that I'm trying to either explain or sell. I can tell you a key message to remember is that visionaries rely on graphic designers. And here's another tip. You want to test your infographic before you release it to the wild. You want to gather feedback from a small segment of your intended audience, your team members, and even, ask the questions. Do they get it? Are they moved to action? What kind of feedback do they have about your message? You want to use this feedback that you receive in these kind of settings to fine-tune your message and to update your infographic. In closing, let me leave you with this thought. An infographic is a bridge that connects you to your audience in a way that words alone cannot. I see it as a bridge built on the power of visuals, the use of simplicity, the use of design for storytelling, As a chief of party, when you build these bridges, you're communicating, connecting, and most importantly, inspiring action. As a chief of party, your ability to communicate effectively is critical and paramount. Infographics are your allies. You can use them to transform the way your project speaks to the world. And remember, it's not only about what you say, it's how you make people feel. Let your infographics be that catalyst for the connection and inspiration that you hold in your project. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time, keep leading with clarity and vision and a few infographics. Have a great week. I'm Dr. Donna Vincent Roa.
Thank you for tuning in to Chief of Party to Chief of Party, Success in Your First 90 Days, your go-to source for insightful, actionable guidance that can shape the success of your project. Let's continue to drive change and create impact, one USAID-funded project at a time.